Hi, this is Lola Scott. I wanted to make a companion video to my first episode of Haunted Alone. I've had a couple of people message me and ask about the pendulum that I used in the episode and how I made it and what pendulums are really about. So I thought I'd make a brief how-to video and kind of explain it a little bit. The first pendulum that I ever got, I bought many years ago, and it's just a simple metal pendulum. Let it warm up. This one has always worked really well for me. You see it's a big wide swing because the pendulum itself is not very heavy and the chain is very light. Thank you. Stop. But I prefer to make my own. So what I do basically is I take copper wire. You can get this from pretty much any craft store, and it's in several gauges. A smaller gauge for the actual chain, and then a larger gauge for the finger part that I hold on my finger. And just take the copper, wrap it around a simple pencil. When you get done, it's got this really nice fun thing that you can play with. But this is going to make your chain length. And then when you get ready to actually make the chain, what you're going to do is pull it just a little bit to separate all of the little loops out here. And then I have two tools that I use. One is to cut, and then one is rounded. These are jewelry making tools. So again, you can get that in a craft store. And what I do is I will cut the links first. So I'm going to, the first one that's open, then you have the first one that's the actual length, and then you're going to cut the next one. So basically you're going to skip one. Pull this out a little bit further. I'm going to skip one and cut it. And I'll make a couple of these so you can see how that looks. And these are going to make just the fun little loops here. And then you can take your other tool, your jewelry tool, and flatten them back out. Kind of fold them back in so you don't have any sharp edges. And then you're just going to assemble these. So I've already got some started here. Got a nice little chain. I'll take one part of it and I'll loop it through. Turn it so you have a total thing in there, and then crimp it back. This is how you're going to make your chain part. And then for the bigger part that I use, I just took a simple, it's an old glue thing from one of my kids' supplies, and the bigger copper wire that I have. And what you're going to want to do with this is let it unroll a little bit. You're going to try not to bend it, so you don't want any big creases in it. And then you're going to cut off the part that's actually already bent. And then you just take it and just wrap it around. You're going to try to wrap it as close to the next link as possible. So that's going to make your chain a little bit tighter. And then once you get enough wrapped, you can just pull it off. So you got this nice little round loop. And it's going to end up looking like these. And you just do the same thing here. You're going to assemble it the same way. Now, as far as what you're going to put on it, you can find the raw pieces like I did. This is a big behemoth amethyst. I've got several of these, and you just take the copper wire and wind it. It's more for aesthetics, so there's not a wrong or right way to wrap it. It's just whatever makes you feel comfortable, what is pleasing to you. You can also buy one that is pre-assembled. It's already got the chain part into whatever stone you're using. Or you can get one that's already got a tiny hole drilled in it. So this is what I'm going to use to assemble this one. And this is rose quartz. So I'm just going to pry this open a little bit. And roll it through here. Close it back with our tool. There we go. For this part, it might be a little bit more trial and error. But as long as you get it all the way in. And there we go. I have a really small one. And it's going to work about the same way. So you always give it a little bit time to warm up, as I say it, which gives an opportunity for a spirit to connect to you and you to connect to it. And you know when it's circling, it's warming up. Thank you. Stop. So now when you do the reading, you can either do the way I did on the video, is just basically use your hands and asking yes and no questions. You could also get something cool like this. I think I got this off of eBay. And it's got the very simple no, yes, maybe. And what you're going to do is set that down and then hold it over it and then ask your questions. It might take a little bit longer for it to warm up this way because you're not connecting totally with it. Thank you. Stop. If you want to go the next step up, you can make a stand. So the stand is basically what I did. This was an ornament stand, and I covered the whole thing with copper, which took a little while. But about the same premise. So instead of holding it, you would set it down. And this is why you make the ring a little bit bigger, because it will actually fit right in the center there. And this way is a little bit more hands-free. I don't use the stand when I go out and investigate because it's a little bulky to try to carry around, and I have a lot of equipment that I carry anyway, and it makes it much easier for me if I can just take it and stick it in a small bag. That's less space, less thing for me to have to pack up. And that is basically how you make and use a pendulum. If you have any comments or questions, you can leave them below on the video, or you can send me a message to the page On It Alone. I'm on Facebook, and I will be more than happy to answer any questions you have. Thanks for watching.